Hello my dear Cancer, welcome to your month. So let's kind of like give you some general astrological overview, and the second part I'm going to add tarot to it to see what other messages you get. If you guys get messages for you, they are meant for you. Not everything will be targeted just at yourself. So in that case, if you haven't been subscribed, please do. And I would also like to get your messages, and if you need any clarification, please just put down the timestamp and your comment, and I will attend to that. So guys, this is going to be a very important month. It's going to be very motivating, and especially the last week of June. That's when you're coming into your own self. So if you're listening this at the last month in June, happy birthday. And so this is going to be time for renewal, for healing, for rest, even reflection. So you will find that you're thinking about the past and that you're assessing, different projects, and for some of you even relationships, for their viability, and you are kind of dealing with culminations. You might find that you're playing a waiting game kind of like frequently this month, but for the most part you're doing that with a flair, with style, right? So you are going to kind of like have this feeling that your spirit is lifting, that everything is possible, almost like a childlike attitude, but at the same time you're going to be keeping things low profile. So Mars is moving in harmony with your sign until the 27th. So the whole month, and this is going to be easy for you to be assertive. It's going to be high energy, it's going to be high confidence, maybe even higher than usual, so be careful a little bit about that. But what is the good news about it, you are not only believing in your dreams, but you're able to sell anybody on your dreams, right? So Mercury spends all of the month in your sign, and some of that is going to be retrograde from the 18th forward. So small problems are likely to crop up, but with Mars in your corner, you're going to feel good. You're going to feel you're on top of things. Also, Venus is retrograding until the 25th. Venus is the planet of beauty, and it is kind of like out of sight in your solar chart. So maybe it means that some information about some private or past issues may surface, and that is going to really help you make better plans or future decisions. For example, you might know that somebody lied to you, and your instinct was, haha, caught you lying. But then you're going to start thinking through it and going to say, I'm going to let you tangle yourself in this lie, because you knew you're lying to me, and you feel that you can do stuff like that. So let's kind of cross my arms and see what happens, kind of a thing, right? So from the 3rd of June forward, you might be a little clearer about what actions to take, especially based on something that was untrue. So we'll see if we get the Ace of Swords as well to kind of like emphasize this issue when we get the tarot part. So we also have the lunar eclipse on the 5th, and that is kind of like a signal that eclipses are beginning to transition out of your sign axis. So that can put discontent and dissatisfaction, but it's also motivating. Like sometimes you fall down and you can sit and cry, or you can dust yourself off, grin your teeth, and say, no, I'm going to conquer this, I'm going to be better with this, right? So what is going to be focused is going to be work and health and routines and habits. That's going to be really, really important. It can be a little bit of scramble to get your life into kind of like better working order. You're going to feel like you're fixing moving parts, but they're all rusty, they are not kind of like functioning properly, so on and so forth, right? So you'll be doing a lot of balancing of work and rest. And emotional and physical health is also going to be important, not only this month, but this is something that is coming up for you for the next couple of years. And it's going to be lots of realization about what you need to do, and they are going to be coming this particular month, right? So you might also have very strong urges and very strong desires. Well, maybe you should listen to them. Just as I said to Geminis, do not think that you have to do them in a day. In fact, it's going to be very hard, and it's going to increase frustration and almost like make you collapse. Instead, kind of like it's better to ritualization, that you really need to go in chunks and you need to kind of like really address it differently, right? So it's maybe a slow month in many respects, but there are like some real opportunities to kind of like really enjoy yourself. So I don't know, you might feel that you're growing through your kind of like connection with someone or contact with someone, that you're kind of sharing the same life view or same philosophy, and this relationship is a little bit different in quality than the other one. They're not necessarily quantity. You might not be seeing this person as much, but quality is something that is kind of like really standing out. So we enter Cancer on the 20th this month. So you see how people who are born 20th, who probably are Geminis, are now going to be Cancer this month. But also we have a solar eclipse that occurs in Cancer the very next day. So 21st, happy summer, happy winter, right? So this is very potent new moon, and this is like one of the final nudges in the sets of eclipses that is pushing you in a new direction, which is going to give you much better understanding of your relationship needs, and also where is this independence needed, right? Also, I think you might be reshaping your image, and it's going to happen toward the end of the month when we finish with this Mercury, with Venus retrograde, and it's going to be very important. So we also need to keep in mind the situation can appear more complicated than you are, so do not overreact. And that's because we're dealing with Neptune retrograde, right? And this is kind of like happening around the eclipse, but you'll get used to kind of like things sooner than later, because Mars moves to the top of your chart on the 27th. So you might be tapping into strong ambitions or possibly a new sense of direction. So maybe you have been focusing on making your life more enjoyable and interesting, but you're also gradually shifting your attention toward taking care of business, performing, and handling your responsibility. So there is like this huge sense of motivation, and you're likely to enjoy a sense of purpose in the very last days of June. So it's almost like I'm hearing this like and then you step on the pedal, right? Like I'm in toward the end of the month. So don't sit and wait and twiddle the thumbs for a month, because nothing is going to happen that way. There is like this groundwork that you need to do. It's not going to also have immediate rewards, but this is also really, really good time to quit a bad habit or take steps toward it, as I said, right? You might also kind of like do things that are going to boost your reputation and increase your credibility. So just keep that in mind as well. Alright, Cancer, there is like a 3 of C reversed over here and Ace of Fire. It's again going back to what I told you. It's about the past. It's about certain things resurfacing. But in this particular case, there is like something that you're really putting down to rest. There's like something that you're reaching a full realization. Something is not sustainable. Something cannot really work out. Something, or could be somebody, I guess, as well, is not necessarily working, how to put it, in your benefit. Let's put it this way, right? So there is an issue over here that you kind of like really need to acknowledge, right? So okay, so let's leave this out, because this is about a new beginning of some sort, or some kind of like flirtation, and this is about possibly having a third-party situation that maybe it's not a third party where you are like fighting with somebody for someone, but it could be that there is like somebody who is influencing and putting the thumbs on the scale pretty much against you, right? So let's see this here. So there is the Empress over here. So this is about this Venus. This is about this beauty. This is about changing your image. This is about nurturing. And this is kind of like really coming naturally to you. That kind of like cushy kind of a thing. You're going to also make yourself feel better and comfortable. And I really think it's going to be month of pedicure and manicure, whether you're man or woman. It's going to be like, how come I never look into my nails? And like, I never pay attention. You're going to feel really empowered that you're kind of like paying attention to these little details, and it's going to make you feel good, and it's going to be like that snowball that goes toward this avalanche and the better things. Sky Queen, you might have a person around you who is giving you advice. So this is actually not this is not necessarily emotional advice. It is sort of like like me, your cat tarot, being your Aquarian woman. Kind of like, hey, this is the fastest path forward, take it or leave it, and if you twiddle your thumbs and you do nothing, it's not going to happen. It could be something maybe that is delivered better. I am going to be clear about my own shortcomings, but it's also something that kind of like brings a sense of urgency. It is telling you, hey, I'm not telling you this because I want you to waste your life. I'm telling you this because I hope that things are kind of like doing better. I hope that things are going in a new direction. So this also could be you, that you just get into that aqua mode and you're very analytical. Remember how I said you're moving off your axis. It's going to feel, oh my god, what's happening? And hey, welcome to my world where you're like extremely emotional, but it's kind of like suppressed inside and you don't really know how to deal with this, right? Fire Tom, interestingly, we have the Ace of Fire reversed. Maybe you have somebody coming in and out of your life, and this is kind of creating confusion. Remember how I said this third party and something being rekindled, something being revived, something kind of like needing to go in a new direction, right? Maybe something is kind of like going along these lines. Fire Tom could be Sagittarius. I mean, you have Sagittarius, you have Libra, you have Taurus, really, really prominently, also air signs, prominently positioned so far. So this could be a little bit of wingling. Remember how I said you might have a tricky moments, but they're going to be just tricky moments. Going to be even bringing more passion, bringing kind of like more things that you want to do. And here you have a floating cat, and I really think that because this is falling in the past, this is more so talking about, look at this, the kitty is falling down, it's going to land on the feet, fingers crossed. But the floating cat or the hangman is also talking about subjecting yourself to a different perspective, right? If, you know, like we are who we are. All the negative things and all the positive things is creating this mesh. This is us. And even without negative things, we would not be who we are. So there is like this acknowledgement sometimes saying, okay, this is who I am. Do I really want to continue creating this kind of fabric? Do I want to improve it? Or is it going to all turn into burlap and fall apart, kind of a thing, right? So in this perspective, we purposely put ourselves in the situation to see that. This is, to me, very strong card. This is why this is God's card, where we are able to go into that introspection and say, okay, so this is what I see. It's not how I see it, but that's what I see. And that's important because this person is important to me. So there is like that thinking. There is like the past issues that I told you that will be coming up. You also have Earth Kitten. There is like being studious. Maybe somebody else coming in your life who is very different from you. I mean, you see this like third party is also really showing up here as well. But here, this is really talking about something genuine, some exploration. And almost like that somebody is presiding over that, or maybe you are saying to yourself, no, those differences didn't work in the past, I don't really know if I want to go into it. If you're single, you have several suitors. Oh my gosh, I'm seeing people everywhere. And those suitors will be very interesting, right? One is going to be passionate. Another one is going to be eloquent, eclectic. But the last one is going to be, hey, what are you doing? Why are you wearing that? And, oh, that color wouldn't look good on me. Something like that. Very kind of like under the radar. Very non-threatening kind of a thing. Very different flavors. None of them is really your flavor. What you really want is like not so far approaching you here. So there is like something, 5 of Seeds, really interesting. It's reversal, which is good. So Kitty here is embarrassed. Oh my god, somebody saw me falling and trying to get this like really goldfish over here. And I don't look good. I look like a freaking bad rat right now. It's reversed. So the kitty is no more in the water. Kitty cannot fall in the water because the water is above. So this, to me, connecting with your sign and connecting with this is kind of like immediate future, means that sometimes you lose yourself thinking about the past. Sometimes you get really sad. It takes one to know one. there is a solution to that. Not really feeling broken about things that happen. Not feeling, I mean, it's very hard when you have that high empathy. So literally, you know, I forbid my clients sometimes to contact me with text messages and just dump their problems on me. I said, no, no, no. You'll have to do it via email because I literally absorb. So when they do it at midnight or so on, I cannot sleep the whole night. So this is really talking about that you are dipping into your memory bank. You're dipping into what if. You're looking at the things and saying to yourself, I have did so many things. I have done kind of like things that make difference, that are going in a really different direction. Why is this not valued? Why is this not acknowledged? The truth is, the question is wrong. Why never works when it comes to relationship, because people, we all are clueless. It takes years and years and years to remove this clueless, and even at that point you're still shocked how people react, right? And then we have demon cat. You're saying to yourself, yeah, I have this person, very, very nice talking to you, very nice texting with you, or maybe you're just too much, like why am I receiving so many texts, right? This also can actually represent a person who kind of like isolate themselves from you, or you haven't heard from and you want to hear from. This talks about maybe some new beginning, some new exploration, but this one is sexy. This one is alluring, and this one is saying all the right things. Not because they're lying, and this is really interesting about knights. They don't lie. They love you, but their love is not permanent. They're not kings, they're knights. They seduce you, and you have the best time of your life, but they don't stay. They have to be somewhere else. So whatever they felt in the moment, they did feel in the moment. But these moments are not permanent with them. Yet, that person looks like is the most appealing to you. Some of you also might be dealing with Capricorn as well, that is really showing up at this stage. And demon cat or the devil shows up when there's an issue of codependency. Also, generally I see this card when we are dealing or talking about the exes and they want something. I don't know, you might have an ex appear and you might even think, right, hey, you know, this may have worked out, or maybe if you're single you might want to go in that direction. It's kind of familiar because that's what happens with human brain, right? We break up with someone or there's something happening and we are like well aware of all these bad things that happen and why things happen and why things cannot work out until they are basically mended properly. But since you're such a romantic sign, you are thinking, honestly, that could be a foreigner. That can be somebody who is not maybe even living in the same vicinity, towns, village, city, wherever where you're from. It could be somebody from a deep past as well, something that maybe have been buried, but buried not to the point that is gone, because you cherish memory of someone really, really deeply. Or it could be somebody who kind of like really reminds you, that kind of like gets you in the passion over here. The environment is cat magic and it's reversed. Oh my gosh, somebody has power over you. This is generally a bachelor. This is generally a bachelor. This is generally a bachelor, but I'm seeing this intensity that you really want to meet different people. And the difference is going to be very, very important to you. So just keep in mind that usually Sagittarians are looking for the same, and that can be kind of like on your way. Sagittarians and Gemini. And on top of that, we are going through Gemini transition, so that's going to be very prominent for you. So somebody will be wooing you, but with wrong things. Venus retrograde makes you do wrong things. Somebody pulls wool over your eyes, and we think, oh my gosh, this is freaking fantastic person. And then they vanish just as quickly as they show up, and you're stuck. You just cannot explain yourself or to anybody else about what happened. Hopes and fears is 9 of C. You want good things for you. You care about getting things. This is really good. When people want good things for them, they usually eliminate bad things for them. But this is reversed. So you're not eliminating bad things. You're dreaming about the things that could be, again, like, pie in the sky. You need to make the steps to get to it. Make pragmatic steps to get to it, like, right? And you might have people who will be helping you with this. And then you have 10 of Earth. And this is talking, ta-da! Ten of Earth to me is very similar to this Earth Kitten, right? Because this to me is like almost like the Ace of, and two of them have a very similar flavor, where you're kind of like finding the grounding. Your family is very important to you. It's going to be very important to you by the end of the month that people and circumstances, situation are important to the point that you will be choosing, even though if they're strangers and completely different from you, they have to be part of the family harmony. And whatever that family harmony is for you, because we all have different families, you know, what Anna Karenina said, all happy families are happy the same way. And every unhappy, I'm paraphrasing, every unhappy family have their own story, right? So you're going to have the month where you might be enticed to kind of like be reckless, to go into quick affairs, or you'll be quickly seduced, or you will be the one who is seducing. But you're going to screw your head straight toward the end of the month, and you're going to find that home and home being home buddy and functioning, like hugging people who are close to you are going to be important. This still may mean that you may still have all these people around you, except those who need to leave, or they might tell you anything, I'm busy at work, or how to do it, or you just notice they're not texting you as much. But they still might be in your life. Your card is communication. So don't just listen and accept. You need to proactively tell what you need from the person, right? You need to proactively be nourished. And if this is a litmus test, if something doesn't nourish you, it is not good for you. Time to move on. Hey buddy, it was great. I want to text with you, but you need to get a clarity in your head that your expectations shouldn't be lowered. And if something hasn't been placed on good grounds, if there was no introspection, if the person is not capable of introspection, if you're not willing to do that, then it cannot be built. Or if this is possible to do it, then maybe this for someone, it can even suggest counseling of some sort, and something being rebuilt, basically dedicating to this home and nourishment. This also could mean that you are having a really progressive month with your kids and mending the difference, and especially those of you who have impossible kids. It's usually a good signs, very nurturing signs, get impossible kids. It goes without saying. Imagine if I get a kid, that would be a freaking nightmare. Like it would be burning the curtains and everything because I want them to explore their freedom. So of course I get a good kid because the spirit's up there. No, hey, you know what, like you already have on your plate, we just really don't want you to deal with this. So that's why you ultimately end up with good children and good pets, but not because we are special, just because we have different departments to handle. So guys, would like to hear what is really up, what's going on. If any of this resonated, that means because the messages were meant for you. If you want everything to resonate, then contact me at cattarot.ca, and then reading is only dedicated to you. I love you. Namaste, and have a wonderful month.